Beetroot, nature's powerhouse. Packed with vitamins, antioxidants and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yeah, for only $20.90. Karibuni sana family. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. To everyone live on YouTube, on Beetroot, and to those who shall be catching this, of course, on a replay. Karibuni. My name is Joby, in case you're here for the first time, and welcome to another episode of the Africa Today show. It is literally 17 minutes past 8 p.m. And today we shall be talking about the American history, how depressing it is. And this is from every angle. And when I say from every angle, it's from the videos I have aligned on today's conversation on what we shall be talking about. Looking at the history of slums in America, this is in 1982, specifically in Miami, how Black people actually were living in very poor conditions. And the landlords of these houses, the slumlords, literally didn't care, to the point of being taken to jail, didn't care about the health condition of majority of these Black people. And yet they're lying to the house supervisors that, they're lying literally when investigations is being done that they're really, really providing their best. So we're going to talk about that. I was a little bit traumatized watching this, but yes, we get to learn something every single day. And literally look at also how today, still the same situation, how effective it is, because we still have a group of people, specifically, of course, Black people, who are highly still affected by, when you talk about right now, the house rent has gone high. And actually, they're saying that the house rent has been going high or has been actually escalating for the last 15 years. So looking at how that has led to homelessness as well, because the moment you have or sitting in a condition where not only is it a slum and these slumlords don't give a shit, and you don't have a job, because that is something that is affecting most of the Black community. Not having a job, the house rent going high, you end up being kicked out and you end up being homeless and in the streets. So we shall be looking at the 1982 history of slum, literally, specifically, and how it affected Black community, because it is all about the Black community. And today, what is happening in not just in Miami now today, we have Los Angeles, we have California, different states literally, which are facing this issue of homelessness, and where the American dream has been long promised. So karibuni sana, that's our topic for the day. And then later on, I think we shall be sharing a video discussing about literally how they are now covering up the stage where Charlie Kirk's fake death occurred. Of course, fake psyop, however you'd like to call it. I want to be discussing about that and see different stages. We've been talking about this, but look at the different how they're conducting the whole case and what is actually missing and why people are actually suspecting all this. So karibuni sana, that's our top conversation for the day. But before we get started, a quick reminder to download our app on the Google Play Store, where you can get yourself the amazing merchandise, amazing organic supplements on the like of beetroot, ashwagandha, multivitamin, and some brain and focus formula. Before we get started, I love sharing with you guys this one, in case you're struggling with processing your thoughts, or you're now having some issues with your brain and focus, got you covered.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind, Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Karibuni sana once again, and with that you can also get yourself other more amazing supplements on the like of ashwagandha multivitamin, again moringa pure, and so much more on like of skincare products as well. But yeah, as we get started with today's conversation, I'll talk about a little bit what is happening on your screen. Remember, we had Candice Owens, who was facing a lawsuit that is because of what she said regarding Macron's wife, who has come out with a new evidence to prove that she is literally a woman. She is a woman. Okay, so let me read this article very quickly, and of course, I want to share also details of Trump, who's to inject $500 million into black colleges and Carter schools. Yeah, in Carter schools. So I want to discuss also a little bit on that and much more developing conversations as we continue. But yes, we have the First Lady of France, Brigitte Macron, who plans to provide photographic evidence in court to prove that she is biologically a woman. And of course, looking at the comments, people are really laughing, and it is hilarious. So why not? Why photographic evidence? Can we have biological evidence, like more of, I don't know. Can you have more biological evidence of like right now, or your birth certificate, when you were born? Some school images too, because it goes back to also with the Michelle Obama, right? There's missing images, and you can see other images of her being a boy, to being a woman. So I don't want to put much details into that, just a quick update on what is happening with that, because Candice Owens was facing a lawsuit because of saying that. So right now we have the First Lady trying to prove herself. So we shall be looking forward onto that and what she has to say. But we have Trump on this other end, where the federal education funding is shifting. Nearly $500 million is being reallocated, to support historically black colleges and universities and tribal colleges. And at the same time, the Carter schools are getting more priority under new grant rules, and the money comes from cuts to several programs from minority serving institutions, including some Hispanic serving institutions. And of course, it's quite alarming in looking at what we were discussing on Tuesday, that is, about how, number one, a big percentage of people today are not able to read correctly, and then seeing all these shifts of funds being deducted in different areas of school. It is very, very alarming and questioning the future of education, not just in America, but because this is also happening in Kenya, being honest. I don't know. I believe this is part of the agenda, I bet. Part of the Agenda 2025, maybe. Because in Kenya, the same thing is happening, where the public schools, the public primary schools and secondary schools are completely, the funds that were being allocated are completely being cut. So this means that literally parents have to go back to their pockets to pay school fees, and a whole bunch of things are going to literally now take effect when it comes to school. So I don't know if this is part of their agenda, but it is alarming. And of course, we go back to what we were saying. It's a high time people now start to educating their children at home. Homeschooling is what is the future, I bet, so we can also raise again a generation of critical thinkers. If you ask me, that's what basically personally I'd say. And of course, critical thinkers like this, I want to share this quick video right here. of a black millionaire, a young woman who was rejected, faced rejection, racism again in America. And she grew up to becoming a very big entrepreneur. And despite, again, it teaches you something, despite her becoming a millionaire, sorry, having different businesses, she still was not even allowed to go into certain uh, hotels, like white only hotels. She still faced that discrimination. And of course, it goes back to remind you, you're still a nigger, no matter what. I'm from Beachwood and reading my comments about my show earlier today about why people not, they shouldn't be having visa free in Africa. And someone told me, eat shit and die, nigger. You know, it's super crazy. So the racism literally runs so deep. So I'm going to share this, then quickly we get into the story of 1982, the slum lords, or rather the slums, and how it affected so many black people, the black community specifically back then, and what is happening today.
Buried in the pages of American history is a story few people know. The story of a young black girl who, in an era of segregation and Jim Crow, became a millionaire before she turned 13. Her name was Sarah Rector, and her journey from poverty to wealth made headlines around the world. But her story is more than just about riches. It's about racism, exploitation, survival, and the power of a young girl who refused to be erased. This is the story of the youngest black millionaire in American history. Sarah Rector was born on March 3, 1902, in Taft, a small all-black town in what was then Indian Territory, before Oklahoma even became a state. Her parents, Rose and Joseph Rector, were descendants of Freed Creek Nation slaves, known as freedmen. After the Civil War, treaties granted these freedmen parcels of land in what became Oklahoma. Sarah's family, like many black families in the area, was poor. Their farm life was hard, their land dry and difficult to cultivate. At the time, most of these land allotments were seen as useless. But Sarah's story was about to take an extraordinary turn. When Sarah was just a little girl, she was allotted 160 acres of land under the Dawes Allotment Act. Her parcel was rocky, considered infertile, so much so that her family even petitioned the government to sell it. The request was denied. So they held on to it, paying $30 a year in property taxes, struggling to keep it. Then, everything changed. In 1911, an oil company drilled a well on Sarah's land, and what they struck was a gusher. Almost overnight, Sarah's worthless plot became one of the most valuable oil-producing properties in the state. By the time she turned 12, Sarah Rector was earning over $300 a day, the equivalent of thousands in today's money. Her income soon skyrocketed into the tens of thousands per month. And so, a poor black farm girl became one of the richest children in America. Sarah's sudden wealth sent shockwaves across the nation. In 1913, newspapers from Kansas City to New York splashed her name across headlines. Oil made Pickaninny a millionaire. The racist language reflected the times, but it also drew massive attention and danger. White guardians and opportunists began circling. Under Oklahoma law, Native American and black children who came into wealth were often placed under white guardianship, supposedly to protect their money. But in reality, many guardians exploited these children, spending their fortunes on themselves. Sarah became a target. Letters flooded in from strangers asking for money, offering marriage proposals, even though she was barely a teenager. But Sarah's family fought to keep control of her estate. Her father hired black lawyers and business managers who ensured her wealth stayed in her hands. As Sarah entered her teenage years, her fortune only grew. She owned shares in oil companies, and her monthly income was equivalent to millions today. She bought a mansion in Kansas City. She attended the prestigious Tuskegee Institute, founded by Booker T. Washington, and received an excellent education. By the time she reached adulthood, Sarah Rector was a symbol of black success during a time when America was still deeply segregated. But wealth didn't shield her from racism. She was still barred from certain hotels, restaurants, and public facilities simply because of her skin color. Yet Sarah used her resources to live fully, buying businesses, cars, and property, and helping to build her community. Sarah married twice and had 3 children. Though her early fame faded, She continued to manage her wealth and businesses. But the Great Depression took its toll. By the 1940s, Sarah was no longer as wealthy as she had been in her youth, but she still lived comfortably. She died in 1967 at age 65, leaving behind a legacy as a trailblazer.
Hey, hey, hold on, Joby. Hold on. Pause that. Pause. I'm late. I just got your message. Are you saying, Joby, American history is depressing? Is that the title you got?
Yes, it is depressing.
Yeah. Now, if you're white, you get to lie about it. Now, if you're white, it ain't.
Exactly. But if you're black, it is depressing. It is just depressing in every angle. American history is just depressing in every angle.
Of
Every.
course, it's wicked. It's all wicked. But go ahead,
Yeah,
Joby. Go ahead.
yeah. My topic is based on my research today. That's why I'm saying it's depressing. It's because
you were
yeah,
you were you were traumatized, were you? I want you to be
a little bit. I was. I'm not gonna lie.
a little bit. God damn it. We don't want you to be
Yeah.
traumatized, Joby.
Well, I'm about to get to it, but
Go
anyway, yeah,
ahead.
we
Go
have
ahead.
Sarah
As
right
a
here.
wealthy black woman in the Jim Crow era. Today, Sarah Rector's story is being rediscovered as a symbol of black resilience, success, and the complexity of America's racial history. Her life raises important questions. What happens when a society that denies opportunity is suddenly forced to confront a black child who has it all? And what does it mean to hold on to wealth and dignity in a world that tries to take it from you? Sarah Rector was not just a millionaire, she was a pioneer. She reminds us that history isn't just about kings and presidents. Sometimes it's about a little girl from Oklahoma whose name refused to be forgotten. If Sarah's story inspired you,
Yeah, it should inspire everyone, and this should be. I don't want to say specifically the history of every black person, but yeah, we've had everything for ourselves before the white people came, and we're living comfortably. We didn't have to. We had it all. People didn't have to work twice jobs, three jobs to make a living like it is today. But with white people who are super greedy, came and destroyed everything,
Super
created
greedy. The white
systems
people are super greedy.
created systems that only favor them.
That-
Now it's
That's
collapsing.
right. That's
You
right.
know,
The only favor them, and that's collapsing. They're
now
gonna
it's
do everything
collapsing.
they're gonna do everything they can to keep it too. Well,
hmm
everything they can.
Now it's collapsing. They want to come back still from where they took people to go create, build every comfortability for them. Now we're still gonna go back to their villages and take back what is remaining. And I'm talking about Africa. It is super super crazy. But looking at that and now getting into the conversation, starting from why the American history is depressing. I was watching this episodes. It's like an investigation that was done in 1982 about the Miami slums, and the situation is just super super devastating.
Must be
Being on, like,
might be something. It's about Liberty City.
not sure if that is,
Okay.
but yeah, we have the slum lords, and most of them, of course, are white people who control these areas, making making millions of money, collecting rent every single month, and yet they can't even give proper sanitation or even give how do I say maintain their properties, because that is the condition. If you look at the black people living in these slums, it's super super bad. I don't know if it is the matter of hygiene for themselves, but no, this is the Kibera. This was Kibera of Miami, literally. This is
Mm-hmm.
what we also don't see in most of the movies. When you see black people doing drugs or shooting people, having all these bling blings on their neck, they're not being shown.
Having all the what on the neck, Joby?
Bling blings. No,
And
they're
bling.
being
Don't say having all the bling blings.
being shown that this side of how Black Americans are
Pow-
living,
the
and that's
poverty.
why. Yeah, I go back to someone like Simba. Is the assumption, hey, you come from America, you live comfortably. So what do you mean you don't
Mhm.
have money? Because this image is completely not shown. So yeah, this is an episode of an investigation from one of the TV stations, I think back then. I don't know if it still
Probably,
exists.
probably Liberty City, Miami. Probably. Let me see.
Yeah, yeah, showing the condition of how the slumlords have been controlling these slums, and it's mostly Black people living there. And also looking at next, we're gonna look at
Of course.
how that today, because the video explains. There's another video which I was watching also, which explains the rent has been rising. The cost of rent has been rising for the last 15 years. It's not like it has started right now with Trump's administration. For the last 15 years, the cost of living in America has been constantly rising. So, which forces the fact that you live in a slum, you don't have a proper job, rent
Exactly.
cost. You look at the shit these people are living on is $151. That is, oh my God, $151 to be living in that type of a condition. It is unacceptable. It is super, super crazy. And then you look at how today now that is effective, how it has led to homelessness in different states of America. So let me share this, then we get to it.
From the heart of downtown Miami is one of the bleakest ghettos in South Florida. This is Overtown, a predominantly Black, overwhelmingly poor community filled with vacant buildings and people who have no jobs. It is an area riddled by street crime and drugs. And one of the first things you notice here are dozens of rundown apartment buildings where people live in substandard housing. But some buildings in Overtown stand out like sore thumbs. They are owned by slumlords who live miles away from here in expensive homes.
That is Ruto and the rest. That is now Africans for real. Because the majority of the people in Africa, they're living in slums. They're not living in good conditions. And the people are supposed to be providing what the majority of the people need. They're living in good conditions. They live in islands, not even in the country, somewhere else.
Even though they are in violation of state housing laws, little, if anything, is being done to repair them.
Yes, Inspector. Who? Housing Inspector.
For an entire month, our cameras followed Dade County housing inspectors through some of the worst slums in Overtown. Every day, inspectors find hundreds of housing violations in these buildings, some of them serious safety hazards, like this hole large enough for a child to fall through, and ceiling.
Trump has the audacity of saying Africa is the shithole. Can you fix this shit? Oh,
He's saying no. Niggas live there and we don't care.
oh shit.
That cave in on tenants. We found people living with no hot water and plumbing that does not work. And we found tenants whose complaints to landlords fall upon deaf ears.
The tub is always stopped up, the bathtub, and the sink in the bathroom, it's always stopped up. And for now, about 9 months, we haven't had any hot water at all. No hot water, period.
Insects, roaches, rats, bugs, flies.
Roach, rats, bugs, flies. Damn, roach, rats, bugs, flies. Damn. Damn. Good. Why don't you move out? I don't know why people. I know you got no job. Go find a job. Black people. I just can't live in these kind of conditions. I gotta go somewhere. I can't stay in no shit. I got rats, roaches, bugs, flies. Like you said, you got no hot water for 9 months. What? I'm leaving Miami. I'm gone. I gotta go. I can find something better. Rats about that long.
Have you
Shit.
had that hole in your bathroom?
I'm scared of rats, goddammit. They bite you.
Have you had that hole in your bathroom?
About 7 months.
Do you ever call the landlord to come and fix it?
I done told him about it. He come out and seen it. He did nothing about it.
Now I have a problem with that. What is that? The Ebonics? Because why is she talking like that?
Because she's ignorant, Joby. that's you don't got a problem when they rapping like that. That's right. You got a problem when they rapping sound all fucked up like that at all. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's the way your rapper. That's the way your rapper says. Rewind it. Rewind it. Let's hear it again, Joby. That's what your rapper sound like. Just like this lady.
That is the production of American rappers, not my rappers.
Yeah, they your rappers, those the rappers you listen to. So go ahead. So, yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it again. Her Ebonics. That's right.
Hole in your bathroom.
About 7 months.
Do you ever call the landlord to come and fix it?
I done told him about it. He come out and see it.
I told him come by. I told him come by. He said he can't see. He don't know. And let me put my latest rap jam at. He don't buy rap and he don't fix my house. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Joe will make a whole Instagram post with that lady rapping on it.
That's a lie. I've not even been posting. I don't even have a phone. I don't have a phone, guys. Donate.
Now.
I know, but yeah, I've changed. I'm a better person.
Because they just need to keep them up. Rat got rats in their butt that long.
How long have you had that hole in your bathroom?
About 7 months.
Do you ever call the landlord to come and fix it?
I done told him about it. He come out and see it. He did nothing about it.
It's like she has a cold.
Dade's Office of Housing and Urban Development keeps records of the worst buildings in Dade County. These files contain the names of slumlords whose properties are repeatedly in violation of Dade's minimum housing code. Inspectors say these slumlords simply use the buildings as tax write-offs and don't worry about making repairs.
Why don't the landlords fix it?
Because it costs money.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons they're in that type of business. They're the cheapest kind of people you ever met, and some of these slumlords.
Slumlords.
During this series, we'll take a look at a handful of slumlords who each own several buildings. We'll look at the conditions of their properties and at the type of treatment they're given once they're taken to court.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and most of them are gonna be cats with the hats. In Miami, most of them are gonna be these cats with those hats. Watching, I ain't even seen this thing. I already know who's gonna be the slumlords. Cats with the hats.
Of the slum. Elliot Rodriguez, Channel 4 News.
Some of the worst slum apartments in Miami are owned by the least likeliest of people. Elliot Rodriguez examines ghetto housing again tonight in part 2 of his series, Lords of the Slums.
The people who live at 1136 Northwest 2nd Avenue have a name for their apartment building. They call it the Hole. Dade housing inspectors call the 75-unit complex one of the worst slums in Overtown. Several months ago, inspectors.
But I'm pretty sure. See, this like 40 years ago. I'm sure this place. I've never seen this place. Probably torn down by now. This video Joe was showing us. Oh, this is like 50 years ago. So I've never seen this. I think the slum been torn down. But go ahead, Joe.
In the ceilings of some apartments. The violations went unrepaired, and when a water pipe burst recently, the ceilings caved in.
Do me a favor, Joe. Pause it. Say when. I'm pretty sure they don't exist anymore. Say, when was the Overtown slum torn down in Miami? You know, ask Google. Say, when was the Overtown slum torn down in Miami? I don't believe it's that good in Miami. I've never seen that slum. So when was the Overtown slum torn down in Miami? I say it wasn't torn down, or it was.
The Overtime slum or Overtown wasn't physically torn down at one specific time. Rather, its community was largely dismantled by displacements and urban renewal policies, primarily in the 1860s and 70s due to the construction of Intense 95 and related projects. While parts of were raised for the other areas were affected by code enforcement and further urban renewal, leading to drastic.
So it got abandoned. No one's in it. I know. I never seen the motherfucker. Never heard of it. So no one's there no more. It got abandoned. I know. Cause ain't no slum like that gonna allow to be just stay normal. I'm like, what? I never heard of that place. Go ahead, Joe.
David, he was in the bed, and that's been about 6 days ago now.
The ceiling fell in on your brother?
Fell in while my brother was in the bed.
Was he injured?
Well, he didn't complain, so just said his shoulder was hurt a little. That's all.
What do you mean was he injured? But ceiling fell in on his ass. He wasn't. Was he injured? When the whole ceiling fell on his ass, was he injured? What you think? Talking about?
Complained that the same month the ceilings came down, the rent went up.
My apartment.
Damn.
They going
Imagine. It's crazy.
See, when Joe was talking about these rents so cheap, I knew this was 50 years ago. What, $150? You ain't written nowhere in America. That's some Africa rent there, Jack. You ain't written no shit. I knew this shit. I knew that shit was old. That was $150. It ain't been $150 since I was adult. So I knew this bit was like 50, 60 years ago. Shit. Fuck out of
Yeah,
here with that crazy shit.
because this is in 1982. Yeah, this is in 1982.
Went up.
My
Okay,
apartment
that's 43
is
years
going up from
ago.
$112 to $151, and that's too much for a place like this.
This woman's plumbing is so bad she has to bail water from her bathtub.
You're gonna be your building will even be torn down trying to charge people $150 for something like this in Africa. You crazy? No one is gonna live there. You better reduce that. You better reduce the price because no one is gonna come live there. Trust me. And then there's a bunch of cheap houses in Africa, to be specific. There's bunch. I can get a bed sitter for, like I was saying, I was lucky enough to be living in Karen as a bed sitter. You don't know how much
It's nice.
houses in Karen cost. It's a lot,
It's
man. I
nice.
was,
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Out the window.
Karen's very
And
nice.
like the other slums
Mm-hmm.
of Overtown, the building is overrun with rats. The man who
Wow.
owns the hole, as
Shit.
well as other buildings in Overtown, lives near the Intercoastal Waterway in Hollywood. He is Milton Markowitz, a Broward real estate
I told you. I told you.
agent
I told you.
who's been in the
Pause that.
slum
I
business for
told
20
you. Pause that. I told you he was gonna be a hack. Malcolm, I told you. I told you he was gonna be a hack. And one of them gonna be down to him. I told you. He's gonna be a cat with the hat. I told you. I told you. And that's exactly what the fuck he is. Go ahead, Joe.
25 years. Markowitz blames the tenants for the condition of his building.
It's the element that you have living there, the tenants, where they have basically no
It's the
respect
tenant.
for the property. When they're drinking a can of beer,
They
they're
don't
not
respect for
going
the
to put it in
property.
a trash receptacle. They're going to throw it right down. I have a man living on
Right.
premises, a manager. He does nothing
That's how,
but keep it clean every
and
day.
they're all, that's how wicked these cats with the hats are. Yeah, that's how wicked they are. And I knew it. I told you. Slumlord's gonna be the cat with the hat. Yeah.
Cleaning up that.
You're breaking a little bit.
Cats with those hats. Oh, go ahead. I'm breaking. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Place.
I'm breaking.
About a block away from the hole is an 81-unit complex where inspectors have found more than 700 housing code violations. The owner is Jonathan Brooks, who lives in an affluent section of Southwest Dade. When we caught up with Brooks collecting the rent at a Liberty
You
City
know-
building, he refused to talk to us about
You
why
know
the
this was.
violations
You knew this. You knew this was old. Old ass car. Old ass house. Car.
In Opelika, the
That old
Reverend
ass fucking
Isaac
car.
Mickens is pastor of Memorial Temple Baptist Church. But the Reverend Mickens is also a landlord, and his buildings in Overtown have been cited for several serious housing violations. This bathroom floor, for example,
And
is
I always
near
got some, and, look, and got some preaching Negro talking about the Jesus Lord white keep people in slum and slum dog houses. Jesus gonna help you, but nigga, you're gonna have to pay my slum dog rent.
There are holes in ceilings and walls. Nevertheless, the Reverend's son says his father does his best to keep the buildings in good shape.
We fix up our properties nicer than anybody else over town, any of the owners over town. And when we rent them, everything is perfect in the apartment. We just bought some apartments.
But Dade housing inspectors say they've been trying for several years to get the Reverend Mickens to comply with the housing code with no luck. The same goes
Exactly,
for
a lie.
Jonathan Brooks and Milton Markowitz. Tomorrow,
So he been lying. He been lying. We do everything for our houses because we know we got dumb niggas in there and they follow Jesus. They're not gonna say shit. And them motherfucker ain't never done shit. Right? And I can't stand these Negro preachers. If I could, I'd tie you niggas up, throw you in a lake.
Never to be sent to jail. Elliot Rodriguez, Channel 4 News.
Amid the rubble of some of the worst slum apartment houses in Miami, there has emerged the name of one landlord in particular who has drawn the wrath of housing inspectors. Elliot Rodriguez tells his story tonight in part 3 of our series, Lords of the Slums.
Dade housing inspectors say the owner of this Overtown apartment building is one of the most troublesome slumlords in Dade County. The man housing inspectors love to hate is Randolph Count. The 28-year-old realtor with the Kai's Company at one time owned 6 buildings in Overtown. At one building, we found gaping holes in ceilings, floors, and walls. For months, tenants have had no hot water and no cooking gas, and some
So they can buy,
violations are
they can buy them
potentially
cheap.
dangerous.
No
The
cooking gas,
problem
just
with
buy
this
them cheap.
outlet is that it's hanging out, the wires are exposed, and if one of these kids should happen to touch it the wrong way, it's quite possible that they could get shot to death.
Count claims he makes repairs on his building, but says that whenever something is fixed, it is not long before it is broken again, either by vandals or his own tenants.
You put in a window one day and the glass is broken the next day. It's not necessarily the tenants that are breaking down the building, but it's the neighborhood that's breaking down. It's what we call street lords. And street lords or street kings are ordering their people to go out there and strip certain buildings. It's a fact that buildings are stripped every day.
But Count's tenants give a totally different story.
He's not cooperative. When you ask him about something, you try to get him to fix something, he has a nasty attitude. He doesn't belong in the public, period, because he has no way of talking to anyone. Because of how you talk to him, he wants to give you some kind of nasty. He is nasty, very nasty. He's not a nice person.
He says that he makes repairs and the people break it down.
He doesn't do a damn thing.
This summer, Count evicted 30 tenants after they withheld their rent.
Pay the rent. Exactly. So he's buying cheap slum houses cheaply for all you low budget uneducated Negroes, and he's a slumlord. So he likes it. So he's not gonna put no money back in the buildings because the buildings, especially in that area at that time, are worthless. I wouldn't even buy one of them motherfuckers because the buildings are worthless. So he's just extracting money from them. It does no benefit for him to put any money in it and have you guys live a decent life. That's no benefit. He's losing money. So that's why he bought them. He bought them to be a slumlord because there's no property value going up on them raggedy motherfuckers. That's a loss. So his money's just coming from him exploiting you with the rent. So I just don't know how you can live in that shit. Hey, only black people globally can live in shit like that. He doesn't do anything, but goddamn it, once you get up the fuck out of there. I'm like, I ain't not gonna do that. I gotta go.
Because of housing violations in their building. Conditions there were so bad, Judge James Rainwater sentenced Count to 60 days in jail. That and a 30-day jail term by Judge Robert Deal are under appeal by Count, who claims he is being unfairly singled out by housing inspectors.
I'm not a slumlord. I don't even know what the word slumlord means. I don't rule over people. I'm not a king.
I don't even know what slumlord means. You know exactly what it means, moron. I don't even know what slumyard even means. Trying to sound all cool. I don't even know what that means. You know what it is? I don't even know what that means, sister. I just try to get my money from these broke-ass Negroes.
Rule over people.
I don't rule over they taking asses.
Inspectors could not remember the last time a landlord was sent to jail. Tomorrow, we'll see what happens when a slumlord has his day in court. Elliot Rodriguez, Channel 4 News.
Yeah, you'll be beaten. You try that shit. Even kicking people outside. And just be doing that shit.
Joe would say you be beaten.
You'll be beaten. Trust me. If you live with people who could critically think and stop thinking, oh, people, that is none of my problem. No, it's my problem, because if I also don't pay rent on time, you mean you're gonna kick me out? Where's the part of your understanding?
Of course, you're gonna get your ass up out of there.
This is your apartment, but we don't care, okay? You breathe, you are living because of me. It's my ass that is paying you to keep on breathing. So you better act like trying to kick me out. Crazy.
Tonight, in part 4 of his look at the Lords of the Slums,
No, I'm
Elliot
not
Rodriguez.
even lying. Even right here, I think I've stayed there for a year so far. I don't pay my rent on time. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can overstay sometimes. I can just decide I'm not gonna pay on time to see what he can do, and he does nothing, because he can't.
Rodriguez explains why profits continue to outweigh the penalties for ghetto landlords.
Almost every day, Dade County housing inspectors are in court testifying against landlords who refuse to repair their buildings. Most of the time, the inspectors leave the courtroom disappointed. They say the problem is the law. Penalties for violating the minimum housing code were established in the mid-1960s. The maximum sentence is a $500 fine and a 60-day jail term. And inspectors say those penalties simply are not enough to force landlords to comply with the housing code.
Many of them will say, well, I don't care. I'm not going to fix it up. If I have to pay a fine, which is sometimes only $25, sometimes it's even $500, it's cheaper than having to fix up the building. So I'd rather pay the fine.
Do you think that we need to get tougher on the landlords?
Definitely.
And although jail terms are on the books, they are hardly ever imposed. In all of 1981, the only landlord to be sent to jail was Randolph Count. Assistant State Attorney Robert Brown.
In the case of repeat offenders who do not comply, we do ask for jail time. We do ask for the maximum penalty. Depending on the judge, sometimes that is a sentence, sometimes it is not.
But in the vast majority of housing cases, no fines at all are imposed. From January until July of this year, 246 minimum housing cases were filed in court. In 123 cases, the landlord repaired the building and the charges were dropped. In 88 cases, the landlords only had to pay court costs. And in 35 cases, the repairs were not made and judges handed down fines, the average being about $500.
Well, we can certainly use some stiffer fines through the courts to let these landlords know that they are playing with human lives, and it's not going to be tolerated.
Besides having little satisfaction in court, housing inspectors are also fighting the battle of the budgets. This fiscal year, funding for housing inspections is being cut in half by the Metro Commission, and 19 inspectors out of a staff of 34 are being laid off.
Dade housing officials say there is no way they'll be able to do their job effectively in light of the severe budget cuts. Tomorrow, we'll take a look at some Overtown residents who've taken it upon themselves to make their building a better place to live. Elliot Rodriguez, Channel 4 News. Randolph Count. The tenants had withheld their rent because of housing violations in their building, but Count obtained a police order to have them evicted, even though most had nowhere to go.
That's right.
It's only right too, because I'll do the same.
And you're getting and you're getting evicted. So you get your shit together and you get your ass out of here.
I'm saying it's different here because let's say if my toilet is broken, my shower is broken, don't you dare come telling me about how I'm late about rent and I've been to fix my things and you're not doing it. You better fix that thing before you come tell me where's the rent. No, it's only right. They're right. You're not.
They're right, but they live in America, and that's why you say it's depressing. And you'll get your black ass out that house, Joby. And I like this shit like you did the last time. I'll start putting your shit out in the street.
This is depressing.
We don't have nothing. Not nothing.
But for almost a month now, the tenants have had something. They are the new owners of the building from which they were once evicted. It all became official on September 14th when Count and representatives of a newly formed tenants association signed a contract closing the deal. The tenants bought the building for $45,000, giving a $3,000 down payment.
See how cheap that shit is? $45,000 back then. That's cheap as shit, goddamn. Whole building for $45,000? Not today, you ain't.
They raised with the help of church and community organizations. Now the tenants spend almost every day fixing up their property.
We felt that ownership would make a difference, that it would change the attitude of the people who live there who are part owners, and thereby give them something to work for, and it has worked. Now they can take advantage of the tax shelters, and they can take advantage of being owners in this community, and it's going to help them financially.
In fact, once all 9 apartments are occupied, the tenant's
You
mortgage
couldn't,
payment
hold
will
on, Joey. You couldn't even buy one of those cars Big Cheese was showing my ass for $45,000. One of them cars Big Cheese showed me cost $100,000, and that was a regular car. Like, are you crazy? But go ahead.
lower than their rent was, and they believe tenants in other rundown buildings will be able to follow in their footsteps.
This is something that never happened before, and I know we will not, if we will succeed in this there, and the other tenants be able to do the same thing with our help.
Yeah, so that is it. So that is in 1982, and the condition of the black people who are living in this.
All right, but let's see it today. Let's see if you go to YouTube and find Overtown. They can just say Overtown, Miami today. See what it looks like today.
Let me share this first before we get into that, because looking at literally how also the rent, like I was saying, listening to this video, it explains over the last 15 years, the rent prices and the cost of living in America has been constantly rising.
Going up. That's because of Barack Obama, what he did with the housing crisis of 2008. But he gave all the money back to the same people who caused the crisis to begin with. Everybody was evicted out of their houses. People couldn't afford them, and you're back at the same place.
So
this time, you got collapsed.
Yeah, so this has led to, of course, a lot of homelessness. I remember we were checking this just a few weeks ago, but now this is explaining in different states. We have Los Angeles, we have Oklahoma, we have different states mentioned, and the number of homelessness that it carries. Los Angeles, I think, has the biggest. Let me share literally as we continue this.
That's why Los Angeles, that guy had that. That's why LA, Joe, that guy had that. He had his broken fridge. He told you, I'm going to get me a fridge one day. What he told your ass.
For the American dream in this land of the United States. Bad news for those who are and have been searching for the American dream in this land of the United States. The American dream here is over. And if you still doubt that, then this video is definitely for you. While America still prides itself as the land of opportunity.
I love AI. If you definitely doubting that, we're here to show you the reality. I love the AI commanding voice. It's amazing.
This terrible sight is never told in the legendary stories of the American dream.
That's your dream, Joby, the American dream. See, you can do this, but I was talking about Gandhi and shit yesterday. A whole show got taken down. A whole show gone. Did you notice the whole show got taken down yesterday, Joby? It's gone.
Yes, you told that.
That's right, it's gone. Yeah, the whole show is gone.
It has become a nightmare raging right in the midst of major cities. From New York to Los Angeles, from Chicago to Houston, slums are increasingly spreading, a painful reality that the authorities have yet to control. You might think this situation only occurs in impoverished areas, but the truth is different.
And remember,
slums exist
they made
right in the middle of the largest cities in America.
Trump has now made homelessness illegal. So he's going to lock your ass up for slave labor. And killing homeless people.
The streets are not only filled with homeless people, but an entire system has collapsed, leaving millions behind without a place to turn. In today's video, we will take you into the largest slums in America, places where the American dream is not just shattered, but crushed right on the sidewalks. Ready to explore an America you've never seen? Let's start the video right now. Do you dare to believe it? Right in the heart of the City of Angels, Los Angeles, there exists a slum stretching over 50 blocks where people are forgotten like trash. Just a few steps away from the glamorous media headquarters of Hollywood, where the lights shine brightly every evening, lies a completely contrasting world. Skid Row, a place that a United Nations representative once called shocking and unacceptable in a wealthy country like the United States. Los Angeles has over 75,000 homeless people, and most of them are concentrated in Skid Row, an area of less than 5 square kilometers, but crammed with tents, garbage, discarded medical supplies, and the strong smell of human feces. There are only 9 public restrooms serving over 2,000 people, and even basic amenities like soap, toilet paper, or clean water are luxuries. As a result, infectious diseases, from hepatitis A and hepatitis C to HIV, spread widely, quietly unraveling lives already hanging by a thread. There are no borders here, but there is an invisible line between dreams and reality. Amidst high-end coffee shops and million-dollar apartments, there exist women who have to sleep on the sidewalks. 90% of women in Skid Row have suffered severe psychological trauma and are often assumed to be working in the night industry, even when they are just trying to survive. Many people are forced to become tough, not because they want to, but because the harshness of the surrounding environment means that even a moment of distraction can cause them to fall completely into the abyss. This situation becomes even more severe as urbanization occurs at a rapid pace. Gentrification, the process of developing an area with new buildings and trendy cafes, inadvertently pushes the poor away from the places they once called home. Rent prices have increased by 28% over the past 15 years, while incomes have decreased by 8%. Although the city once proposed a plan to build 10,000 affordable apartments with a budget of $0.2 billion in 2016, the mindset of "not in my backyard" has halted many projects. From a federal policy perspective, the Trump administration once proposed cutting housing subsidies and food stamps, while also requiring recipients of assistance to have jobs, something nearly impossible for those without homes. Skid Row, after all, is the convergence of everything society does not want to see. It is not just a neighborhood, but a mirror reflecting an America struggling between the promise of dreams and the reality of nightmares. Skid Row is not just a place. It is a mirror reflecting an America grappling with questions larger than housing, security, or policy. It makes us wonder.
I was young. I was young. My father took me down to the Skid Row. And the kids call me Keithy. This is gonna happen to you, Keithy, if you don't study and listen to your daddy and get your grades right. I was like in the 2nd grade. I'm like, what? I'm thinking in my mind, damn, you ain't gonna help me? You gonna let me get all fucked up like this? You gonna allow me to be all fucked up like this? Because I didn't say it because I was a child. I was just thinking, if this was gonna happen to you, you don't study and don't do what I tell you to do. I'm like, damn. You gonna let me get all fucked up like this? You ain't gonna do nothing to help me? Go ahead, Joe.
Once made this country prosperous, such as community responsibility, compassion, and the belief that everyone deserves a chance, gradually disappearing. Las Vegas, once dubbed the city that never sleeps, is becoming one of those places where people can no longer dream of a peaceful night. Behind the dazzling lights of the casinos and fountains lies a reality no one wants to mention. Over 8,000 people are homeless, many of whom were once hotel staff, drivers, and restaurant servers. Those who once created luxurious experiences for millions of tourists. But just a few blocks away from the Strip, you will find a completely different world. Shabby tents made of tarps and scrap materials. People huddled under bridges or in the city's underground sewer system. Once a solution to escape the heat, now an involuntary shelter. They came to Las Vegas for dreams, and they were once part of that dream. But as tourism rebounds and rental prices soar, many people are being left behind in the very city they once contributed to. In 2025, a studio in Vegas exceeded $1,400 a month, nearly the monthly income of a blue-collar worker. When bills, medicine, and meals become mutually exclusive choices, many people are forced to leave their apartment and live on the fringes of society. That is not freedom of choice, but rather choices forced into a dead end until they have no other option but to live on the streets. And while a segment of the population sinks into darkness due to the cost of living crisis,
this is because of an evil system. This is an evil system. I've told you all that socialism, capitalism, communism, it's all the same shit because it'd be the same bankers control all their systems are all evil. Because all you have to do, I said it before, the earth is abundance. Since you're always going to need new workers to do jobs, you have people work 20 years. They don't need any money. All the food is grown. People do certain sectors. Everything is given for free. Like a car. You take a car in and out like a library car, like a book. You want to drive a Lamborghini? Come check it out, drive it. You have guys working for 20 years doing jobs, they retire. Then the next group of youth come in and work every job for 20 years. And you'd have things that are actually built to last. Not in this system where things are meant to throw away and break. You know, your phone, they design your phone to break in 4 or 5 years. So you make, force to go get a new one. You make things to last. And you make everything fucking free. And everybody work 20 years, then you'll stop, they'll be retired. Everything will be free. See, that means no control. And that'll be easy to be implemented. Easily. Because the earth gives you everything for fucking free. Go ahead, Joey.
The darkness rises brightly under the neon lights. Nightlife in Las Vegas, long associated with images of indulgence and extravagance, is now becoming the focal point of an underground social crisis. According to the latest data from the Metropolitan Police Department, violations related to the nightlife industry in America's entertainment capital have increased by nearly 50% compared to the same period last year. Some areas, such as downtown Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Strip, and especially Spring Valley, where there has been a staggering 230% increase in sensitive nighttime activities, are causing local residents to feel uneasy. More painfully, it is the very workers who once served in the entertainment industry who brought fame to Vegas, who now cannot afford to live here. And while a few continue to dream of the light, thousands of others have to choose darkness as their final refuge. Las Vegas is not just a story about lights. It is also a mirror reflecting an America that is losing the balance between those who create value and those who enjoy it. If a city is left with only 2 types of people, dreamers and those awakened by the bitter reality, then does that dream still belong to everyone? Sometimes, to witness the collapse of a civilization, you don't need to travel to a distant frontier. Just take a small turn off the bustling market street, step out of the light from the glass buildings bearing the logos of top tech corporations, and you will arrive at Tenderloin.
This what Big Cheese sees outside his house right here.
He begs, he wishes. You don't wish for that, cheese. Better stop.
A place where hope, safety, and human dignity have long decayed without anyone bothering to mention it. Tenderloin lies in the heart of San Francisco, a city once hailed as a symbol of innovation in America, a promised land of technology, startups, and youthful dreams. But the bitter irony here is, just a few miles to the south is Silicon Valley, the birthplace of thousands of millionaires, while in these 50 narrow blocks, thousands of people have no roof over their heads. On the sidewalks, tents sprout up like mushrooms after the rain. Some lie down, some sit, some stand aimlessly, next to torn tarps, filthy folding beds, and eyes that no longer reflect life. The city sanitation team comes to clean every day, but just a few hours later, the trash is full again, the urine stinks, and despair envelops the area, like a festering wound that is only
urine and doo-doo every fucking where. That's the job you're gonna get. I don't think I can do that job.
I don't know. I was to ask you, Kit, since you move around everywhere, how comes you don't see these places? Like,
I do
don't.
see those places. What are you talking about? I do see them. What are you talking? Because I
Oh,
don't
okay.
mention it. Because I don't mention them.
Yeah, because
What you want me to say, Joe? What you want me to say, Joey? I see homeless people and it's all fucked up. I told you I tried to give a homeless man some KFC in goddamn Memphis. He told me no. He
how
didn't
is
want
this?
your he didn't want your KFC.
Surface. Many residents have to tape signs on their car windows. Nothing to take here, just to avoid having their windows smashed. Walgreens stores in the area have to display essential items like body wash, soap, or a can of Spam in locked glass cabinets. Not because of the value of the product, but because trust has collapsed. When a society begins to lock up even those things once considered common and shared, it is not just a security measure, it is a sign of a shaky foundation. Tenderloin is not just a neighborhood full of trash, tents, and unrest. It is a vivid testament that neglect can lie right in the heart of the city, not just in remote areas. The city, once hailed as the window to the future of America, now leaves an impression like a
It's
cracked
the end of an
mirror.
empire. And the funny, and pause it. And you got the nerve to see how he's trying to give propaganda to Chinese people. Come work for us. Come be a spy and try to take down China. I said, no, we don't got no homeless people in China. Why would I come be a spy for you? Tell me that your system is more fucked up than us. We see your system. Your system's fucked up. You can't even be a spy. They can't even go to the Chinese and recruit them. Come work for us and be a spy and help us take down China. Like what? What are you talking about? You seen America? Go ahead, Joe.
That's a shithole.
Helplessness, and societal disintegration. If a city cannot protect its most vulnerable, the mother, the child, and the homeless, then is it worth calling it a livable place?
No.
If you've ever seen a photo of a man standing motionless in the street, head drooping to his chest,
Yeah, so we have that literally, of course, which we've seen that a couple of times. Then we have, let me share a little bit of this. Then we see the overtime. We see the overtime slums if they have been torn down today and how it looks, to see if we can find anything about that. This is in New York, the current state of New York as we talk. This is 6 months ago, a video of 6 months ago, 2025.
Once a symbol of the American dream, New York City now wears a different face when the sun goes down. The city that never sleeps seems to have gone to bed early, leaving behind a haunting silence that echoes through its deserted streets. Once a beacon of opportunity, the metropolis now struggles under the weight of homelessness, economic decline, and a deepening social divide. Each night, an overwhelming 146,547 people find themselves without a permanent home.
146,000 people. 547. This is crazy.
In New York City.
That's how economic collapse looks, Joe. They can't go back to their ancestral land in the village because they don't got
Sorry for them. That is still a stolen land at the end of the day,
69% are members of homeless families, and shockingly, 48,304 are children. The city's housing crisis has reached a tipping point, exacerbated by skyrocketing rent, a shortage of affordable housing, and a wavering economy. Meanwhile, the arrival of migrants further stretches the city's already fragile support system. Under the right to shelter mandate, the city is legally required to provide housing for all homeless individuals, including the tens of thousands of asylum seekers who have arrived in recent years. This humanitarian obligation, while essential, places immense strain on resources, pushing the city.
Look at Africans. Look at our people. Look at our people coming, then they're stranded on the streets of nowhere, thinking that life is yay in America. Look at this, the images. We've seen these images. That was in 2023. They were being stranded literally in Canada. Crazy.
To the brink. At night, New York transforms.
Look.
Midtown Manhattan, once bustling with neon lights.
Is it our fault they're morons that don't know what's going on? Or is it their fault?
The system's fault. I'm not telling the truth, number one. Like I said, we don't see these images of slums, you know. We see the bling blings, see the guns, see different things. So don't see this.
Packed restaurants now houses countless makeshift beds outside closed businesses. Subway stations meant to carry hurried commuters have become shelters for those who have nowhere else to turn. Central Park, an emblem of tranquility, now mirrors a refugee camp, with tents scattered beneath its towering trees. The contrast is stark, luxury and despair existing side by side, yet never intersecting. Despite the LED screens of Times Square still gleaming, they illuminate a reality that few are willing to confront. A black man leans against a high-end fashion store, holding a cardboard sign that reads, "Once there was a dream, now just a meal." Nearby, a group of well-dressed socialites steps out an upscale bar, eagerly discussing their upcoming European vacation. Two worlds, two fates, existing in the same space, but living
As soon as they get done with the upscale bar, they go out there and say, "Get away from me, you dirty nigga."
completely different realities. The city's economic downturn has only fueled the crisis further. Storefronts are shuttered, not just due to a lack of customers, but because they have become shelters for those with nowhere else to go. Restaurants and small businesses struggle to survive as their foot traffic dwindles. The departure of the millionaire class, coupled with inflation and job scarcity, has left behind an urban landscape teetering on the edge of collapse. New York's homelessness crisis is more than just a statistic. It is a symbol of a fractured society. It reflects the widening gap between those who thrive and those who barely survive.
Yeah, we have that. Then we have, I'm going to share the last one. This is your state kid, California. Look at how it looks. California. This is
You always that's when you went out. You always showed LA and San Francisco. That's California. Then you went to New York. I don't live in California. Oh, that's Jason lives in California.
it's your hometown. It's your home.
Oakland, California sure does have a homeless problem. Driving around town, there's homeless encampments
See,
all
that's
over the
Oakland.
place. They're on
And
the sides of the
that.
roads.
That's because everybody left San Francisco because they couldn't afford to live in San Francisco. They moved to Oakland because they couldn't afford to live in San Francisco. Now you can't even afford to live in Oakland now. Remember, Oakland was the low budget San Francisco. It where all the poor people went. Now that they raised the prices in Oakland, you got the same homeless problems now you got in Oakland that you had in San Francisco across the bridge, across the Bay Bridge. Because everybody who lived in San Francisco, what you showed Joby, they upped the rent. They couldn't afford it. So they moved to that city called Oakland. Now they can't afford to live there. This is all America. That's right. Crazy.
And dirt lots. There's
depressing. Let me use the right. This is depressing.
long stretches of them on sidewalks. Some are in tents, some are in RVs, some are actual encampments with makeshift structures where hundreds of people gather into communities.
Crazy.
Tell me this don't look like Africa right there, Jack. God damn. I ain't been to Oakland in years. I ain't never seen it look that bad. That's how you know you're getting ready for economic collapse. Okay? That's how you know it. I ain't never seen that like and yeah, Joe. Do I ever see like that? I'm in the South, so no. In the South, I don't see nothing like that. They won't tolerate that shit right here in the South. They're not gonna tolerate that down here, Joe. So do I ever see anything like that in the South? No. Never.
Okay.
1,000 homeless individuals throughout the city of Oakland, but nobody really knows the exact answer. And the number of people on the streets in Oakland's nearly doubled in the last 2 years alone. A lot of that has to do with the high cost of living in the Bay Area. Apartments that were once $1,000 a month now cost closer to $3,000 a month. A lot of the homeless are addicts, but there's no real one reason.
From $1,000 to $3,000. 200 times the price. Can you what? From $1,000 to $3,000 and you have no jobs that pay you that much to afford any of those houses. You kidding? $3,000 a month. I can't imagine paying no rent like that. You out of your fucking mind. And I don't own it. I don't even own it. I'm paying you $3,000 a month to rent some shit. Man, it's time to pack up and leave.
So high in Oakland. If you ask 10 homeless people why they live on the streets, you're going to get 10 different answers. Look at this one in West Oakland. This one is sort of sanctioned by the city, meaning they don't run them off. Sometimes it's easier to keep them in one place so they can monitor them and provide support. But this problem's impacting the community in a big way. Local businesses complain about losing customers. I mean, would you want to park near here to shop?
No.
Residents
No, you
complain
wouldn't.
about homeless
And
people
look,
stealing.
exactly. And look, you don't find no shit like that in China at all. So you can't run around talking about we're gonna be the CIA, we're gonna talk about bad China. China don't got no shit like that nowhere, none of their cities. Nowhere. And you told you the richest country in the world, this all over America. That's you find in Chicago, California, Las Vegas, New York. That shit is crazy. Go ahead, Joe.
From them. Neighbors complain about loud noise and trash. Some say helping the homeless is backfiring. And the Oakland police are already stretched thin because of low numbers. There's many reasons for that. Vaccine mandates, early
Look at that. Damn. Ew. This is disgusting. Like, this is crazy.
retirements, and being defunded. Now, I spent
That's
2
the,
days
that's the
riding around
American
Oakland,
dream.
No.
looking at how run down this once proud city's become. And along the way, I recorded all the homeless.
I ain't gonna lie.
camps in this town.
It was a nice city back in the day. I've been to Oakland in years. I never seen it like that. Oakland was nice. Long time ago. I ain't been to Oakland in 20 years. So it didn't look like that.
Crazy. But anyway, let me allow it to run as I read the comments of the people on the chat. This is crazy.
This is great. That's your American dream, Joby.
I'm good. I'm glad I didn't have the dream. I'm so happy I never had. I was never easily influenced to have that dream. You know, I was comfortable in Kenya from the word go. Anyway, it's good to tour around, but do I want to live in this kind of a condition? No. For what? I'm good here. I'm living good more than what I've seen from the history. Literally, it's been bad for most of the people in the States. So I'm good. $150. I'm living lavish. Trust me. But anyway, Jiba Jaba Karibu Sana once again. Shout out to Jason, the Royal Constrictor, Big Cheese, Joe Mosquito, everyone with us on the chat, 10 speed, and the rest of your kindly hit that like button and subscribe if you're here for the first time. I see Jiba Jaba says I'm still pissed over the jackal Latin.
The jack-o'-lanterns, Joey, the pumpkin head. So Jibba Jabba just learned what we showed him yesterday. I told you, I didn't learn until I was like 36, 37. So Jibba Jabba just learned yesterday that the jack-o'-lantern thing was black people's heads, slaves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he just learned. The pumpkin. When you said you like, I'm all disturbed again.
Yeah, that's another depressing story. It's just crazy, man. But anyway, yeah, tell you. I also see Jaba Jaba says good channel way back archives. Yeah, that's the channel. With it has like literally many different stories if you check, and it's mostly I'd say related to black people's history. John Mosquito Karibu Sana once again says, guys, we've had enough of Trump. We're sending him back to America. That's what's up. Big Cheese says, I'm glad you
That's right. Big Cheese, that's right. I'll skip about Trump is in England right now. That's right. I forgot he's in the UK. Over at Windsor Castle. That's right.
Yeah, I also see Big Cheese is saying Joby Keith light skinned as thinks he's better than us. Acting like we can't just move out of the ghetto easily. He acts like South African colored.
It's crazy as hell. Big Cheese, you got me all fucked up. Get out of here.
He's talking from what we were talking about earlier today on my show about the light-skinned
I know.
criminals.
I said it was bad. Exactly. I said I'm a light skinned Negro and got treated bad in South Africa. They told me no. It didn't make no difference. They told me no, I couldn't come in the restaurant. But they didn't do like they did that other guy. At least told him, they didn't tell me, hey, don't be that guy. They just told me no. And since I was in a foreign country, I was scared to like act up because I don't know, I'm a foreigner. And they must say, man, you out your fucking mind. Fucking get out the damn way. Coming in here and sitting down. They got me all fucked up. Get out your head. You crazy. So I was a foreigner, so I took the humiliation. All the white people looking at me like, and the white people looking at you too, and they looking at me like, that's right, nigga, a cop out. You don't bring your ass in here. I'm like, damn.
Jib also says that's all the Section 8. The government pays the rent through a housing voucher. And yeah, it's crazy because we're watching another video still. Despite the government paying whatever they pay, some people still can't be able to cover up the rest of the amount in Section 8. Because remember, we're watching a video with kids. One of the ladies living in Section 8, and she was being evicted, for not paying her, was it taxes, if I can remember, but
she didn't pay her rent on time, not tax, her rent.
Rent,
She didn't pay the rent. She said, I told them people, she didn't pay that shit. She didn't pay it. Can I go pay it now? They said, no, you gotta go.
Crazy, but also 10 speed.
And she had some big black Negro in there playing video games. And the guy who's been victim said, who's this dude? What does he do? Oh, I can pay the rent right now. Then why you pay it before then? Get your ass out of here. You got to go.
Jip also says so they throw in one black to even it out. I know it's crazy. the slumlords. Jip also says after getting fined, the loophole is the 30-day appeal for the landlord. Nothing ever gets done. And Welfare King Welcome says, I'm so glad that the time I was born to now, I always live great. Yeah, you're lucky. It's lucky. That's, I don't know, blessed, lucky.
That's what's up, man. Where you at, Welfare King? What damn state you in, man? Can we move there and live with you? what state you in, Welfare King? See, since you've been living great, since you've been alive, we all want to follow your example.
Big Shit says today you could buy those buildings for cheap, fix them for cheap price, fix them up nice and place government and Section 8 tenants in there. Government rent is never late. And Big Cheese also says after those black people bought that building, the government was going to work to make sure it would be a failure. Like
exactly. And they probably said as soon as Joby said that scene that they bought him, I know they tore them motherfuckers down to the ground. You niggas, get your ass out of here.
That one sunken one. Karibu sana. Jason says they done cleaned up so many homeless off the streets. Damn, already. Jibajaba says so many Americans are one missed paycheck from being there. And Sunken one says Keith, there ain't no Dr. Pepper on Skid Row.
You go to hell, God damn it. Ain't no damn Dr. Pepper on Skid Row. I don't drink Dr. Pepper like I used to. I drink it on the weekends, so you go to hell, right? But that's true. But we are one paycheck away from being on the street. That's a fact. That's so damn true. That's so scary in this country. And it's only going to get worse, guys. We are in slow collapse. Remember, collapse happens slowly than all at once. It's not going to get any better because there are no other jobs coming back in the country to make it solvent. America's already lived its better days. Everybody keeps saying, oh, we're going to make America great again. No, you're not. We don't have the manufacturing power. We don't have cheap energy. Remember, to manufacture your energy must be very cheap. Our energy is more expensive than China or Vietnam. So that ain't going to happen. Because remember, to sell it, you must sell it cheap. Right? So we don't have any cheap electricity here in this country. So the morons always forget about that. Oh, we're going to bring manufacturing back. Okay, so you're going to make $3 an hour, $5 an hour. You ain't going to work that job. White people ain't gonna work for no $3 $5 an hour. So how are you gonna? What income are you gonna take that makes it profitable to bring manufacturing back here? See, we've been so dumbed down that don't even want to add those equations, easy equations in it. I told you, just by electricity alone, you have to have cheap electrical cost. Okay, you can go check the cost of electricity in China and Vietnam. It's 10 times cheaper than it is in America. So you can't compete just right there. Even if you build the damn manufacturing factories back again, you build them all back. You got a bunch of morons who don't know. So it's gonna take you 20 years to re-educate people. You made everybody dumb. You don't know how to make shit. You don't know how to make a goddamn sock. So it's gonna take 20 years to re-educate people. And then you don't got the electrical grid to make it happen. So, and then you're not gonna pay people a livable wage. You're not gonna make what the Chinese or the African makes. That shit is gonna move to Africa. A motherfucker making, you imagine a motherfucker making $7 an hour in Africa? They be like, God damn right. What? I'm going to see here, Joby. I'm gonna make $7 an hour. You in America said, man, you out your motherfucking mind. I ain't making no $7. You got me all fucked up. So where's it gonna go? It's gonna go there. See? That's what I'm telling you.
I'd be balling, literally.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where it's going. And that's where it's going to go. I told you, Africa is going to be the manufacturing hub of the planet in the next 15 to 20 years, because that's the only place it can go, and that's just a fact. Don't get mad at me. You want to call yourself an Indian or you hate African? I'm teaching you economics, whether you like that or not.
Period.
Go ahead.
Rajaba says his granddad took him up to the Hill district of Pittsburgh and said the same thing your dad told you about you being on the skid row. But Jibba also says a panhandler told me why would he get a job when Libs give him $250 a day in change and cash, food too.
See that? Because white people, because it was working. But people are broke now, so that hustle's not gonna work the same no more. Ain't nobody got no money. So back in the day, people sat out there with their cardboard. We'll work for food and all that kind of. You ain't gonna work at all, but I'm homeless. Please help me, and all that. Do me a favor, real quick, Joby.
Okay.
Open up the YouTube feed and say, what's the word? What's our boy's name, guy? What is guy? What was the comedian guy's name? Harris. What's his first name, guys? Harris. When he said spare change. What the fuck is spare change? I ain't got no spare change. Damn, what the hell's his name, guys, in the chat room? I can't get his name. Brother Harris. Damn. The one who did Bebe's Kids. What was his first name? You guys see his name in the chat room.
Robin Harris.
Robin, yeah, okay, yeah, I couldn't get it. I want you to say, I want you to say, Robin Harris says, what the fuck is spare change? So, because they always say, when people begging him, he said, brother, you got some spare change? You got some spare shillings? He said, hell no, I don't got spare nothing. He said, what the fuck is spare change? I can't remember Robin Harris's name. Dang.
Look at mine.
Here we go.
Anticipate.
He's begging.
Unemployment office. Ain't that a bit?
Unemployment office.
Yeah, I got a job looking for one. I've been out of work so long, I forgot what kind of work I'm out of. A lot of brothers don't want no job, do they?
They want no job.
They be sitting around the house 8 hours a day smoking a joint. Looking through the one ad, come on. Damn, the job situation looks sad. Going, shit, I wish I could find me a job. Let me think a job gonna come up to the house. You know what I mean? Knock on the door. Who is it? Job. Damn, this is some good shit, but I ain't going. Boy. I'm feeling good, y'all. I was out back smoking me a drink. That's what I said. Test 2, baby. Yeah.
You go to a chain.
And I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a drunk. Alcoholic got to go to them goddamn meetings. And you know, don't you hate that shit?
Here you go, change. Here you go.
Everybody's
Here you go.
Begging.
Everybody begging. Hey, brother. This is Jamaica. Everywhere you go. Brother. Yeah, brother. All that begging shit.
Just guy, you better come here and defend your people. We are all Jamaicans then.
Everywhere you go. Always begging.
We are all Jamaicans.
Let me help you with that. Motherfucker, help me with the car note. Help me, son.
That's right. Help me pay the car note. Help me pay for the car, goddamn.
Yeah. Shit pissed out, don't it? Oh. Just fucking with you? Man, I want my family at home starving. We ought to go home and be with them. What you ought to do? Fucking with me?
Our family home is starving. Hey. You can go home and be with them.
I'd like to ask you this shit. Hey, brother man. Brother man. Yeah, brother man. You got any spare change? Hey, ain't that a bitch? I want to know what the fuck is spare change. Get your ass a spare job. That way you'll have some spare change. Shit. Oh. But tell you, I don't want to work for the white man. Oh, but you beg for the black man. That a bitch. Shit makes me mad. You be quiet.
All right, Joe, that's it. That's good enough.
What the fuck up?
Oh, you got another?
Your ass be on the bus stop.
Yeah, that's funny.
Bus stop. It was very funny. Spare change. Brother. Got some spare change? No. Got a spare job? Fuck wrong. Get your ass out of here. And Joby just like him. Joby don't even get a baby that beg from her no money.
No. You can't be like, you can't help everyone. Just that's it. You just can't help everyone. I tried that bullshit and I always went hungry when I was in town. Like, god damn, how many people am I gonna give my soda? I've given the spare change. What else do you want to take?
That was Joey mama trying to teach her.
You can't help everyone. Just that's it. I had to learn the hard way because I remember from my mom, you're gonna have to toughen up, and I had to toughen up for real. Those kids don't care. They'll take everything from you. Oh my god. But anyway, as we shift from the next conversation, we have Nobamas, us, talking about Charlie Kirk and the situation. And then I'm going to be winding up with another video on BitChute explaining further on the video you shared with me even yesterday about how they had posted the picture of the suspect, how was earlier before.
Yeah, it was all fake. Psyop. And they always saying they were showing it was somebody from behind. They probably shot him from behind. That was close, and I thought so. Everywhere shot, he was shot from behind. And I told the whole story's fake.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to a lot of people knowing it. I knew it, but listen, nah, this is all fake.
Mm-hmm.
This is fake. Go ahead, Joey.
I have another video from BitChute.
Do we really got to hear from Obama ass, Joby? Do we really got to hear from Obama ass? Do we really got to hear from Obama no good ass?
Yes, you need to. Just listen.
God damn.
What happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific and a tragedy. What happened, as you mentioned.
And every time black people got killed, he called them thugs and no good. You no good, dirty thug. He's supposed to have been shot and murdered. And this bootlicking, cowardly ass Negro. Oh, what happened to Charlie Kirk? Shut up. Nobody gives a fuck what you feel. Shut up.
I'm gonna read the comments of black people in these comments, and it's hilarious. Like, people don't know much. It just explains from that people are still blind in a lot.
To the state legislators in Minnesota, that is horrific. It is a tragedy. And there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The central premise of our democratic system is that we have to be able to disagree.
No one even cares what empty suit Obama even says no more. You always come to and the premise, you go away and stay the fuck away. Shut up. Go away. Shit.
Black people care because someone says on the comments, you see how he pauses to speak, how he gathers his words together, that they are effective and clear. That is very
Just because you got a moron comment, don't make him no less of a moron.
Very intelligent.
See how effective. That's a bootlick handkerchief head, this disheveled ass Negro. See how intelligent he speaks and blah blah blah. You shut your. He's the same one. Whoever wrote that be the same one. Open up his mouth and make sure you get all the dick and balls down his throat.
Don't be crazy. But you saw at the beginning talking about whatever on his throat. Brigitte Macron earlier had reported she has plans to provide photographic evidence in court that she is a woman. Okay, so Candace Owens, you're about to you're about to get it, because remember Candace Owens faced a lawsuit because of claiming she
said you're born a man and you're gonna die a man. That's what Candace Owens said when Joe had that video. You're born a man and you're gonna die a man.
So let me share this video here as we get information on this psyop and the lies they're trying to tell people. Beatrix, you better behave. No time for this. You better behave. Oh no. Are you kidding me? Load it. Damn. Is it my internet or Beatrix? Okay.
This should always take some time.
Circles around major news outlets. Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them. Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Controlling our reality since the beginning of time. How to become a part of it.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As I begin to wind down the coverage on Charlie Kirk's fake assassination, because I'm sure most of you are already in Charlie Kirk fatigue, and rightfully so. I'm sure you're experiencing it in your day-to-day lives, hearing many of the sheeple out there regurgitate the mainstream media and the government's narratives over and over and over again. But there's one other thing that I want to point out.
Their narrative.
People should look at, and these are things that should make you go, huh? And a light bulb should go off in your head when you see some of the things I'm about to show you, that this indeed was not a real, actual event. And we know this by how this has been carried out, the way people are behaving around the event, the constant coverage the mainstream media is giving it.
Exactly, over and over
laws
again.
And regulations that you're going to see passed in the coming weeks as people continue to remain unhinged by this operation. But this is all the government calling cards, as always. And I want to bring this to people's attention.
False flag.
Now, when a crime is committed, when a murder takes place, do we normally have an area where a murder takes place that people can have instant access to? Or do these areas usually get completely blocked off by, the police,
That's what I said.
or maybe
But
in this case?
remember I said that pause. Remember I said that? Because I looked at that's why I did no show this weekend. I going through this. I said, where the fuck is the yellow tape at? Where the yellow tape? What kind of investigation is this? Because they're so sloppy with this science because they know most people are stupid. Most people just take what the government says in there on their fake fucking news. And I'm looking at this shit. I said, nah, this shit's a fucking sop. I don't know if he's dead or not. I know this whole story is a fucking lie. I know that. But goodly, they've done too many psyops, too many false flags. But everybody's starting to notice now. And like, nah, we don't believe this bullshit you giving us. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, of course, in a normal world, if a crime was committed around where you live, the police would tell you to stay away from the crime because it's a crime scene. And they don't want any of the scene contaminated. They don't want you to touch anything or move anything because it could affect the investigation. But as is always the case with government assassinations or government psychological operations.
And that's what I told Joe yesterday. I said, how the hell they start taking down shit? I don't see no yellow tape around this shit. Who's investigating this shit? What kind of crime scene is this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said the same thing I'm saying. Everybody's starting to notice when you fucking with a psyop. This is fake. Now, I don't know if this dude's even alive or dead, but I know it ain't what they showed me. I know that. Go ahead.
Government staged events, there are never crime scenes because there are never real investigations, which is why they want people to be afraid to question the news, which was the whole purpose of everything they did with Sandy Hook, making you afraid to question the validity of the news without actually seeing any evidence presented to you other than what the news told you actually occurred. No bodies, no killer, just a story on the news, and immediately everybody calling for gun control and more regulations. What you saw after Charlie Kirk was supposedly shot did not look like a crime scene at all. In fact, it looked like the breaking down of a set, and that's really what it was, because this was a giant production. It's no different than after a Hollywood movie shoots or a Broadway play, and they break the set down after the fact. What I'm about to play for you, starting right now, is a clip of what happened in the aftermath. There is no crime scene tape. Let me roll it for you here. If you look, there is no crime scene tape. There aren't even police nearby to block off people from getting too close to where Charlie Kirk was supposedly shot. Now, don't they need to block this area off? There could be DNA possibly. There could be fragments of bullets. Don't they need all these things for an investigation? Remember, at the time, they told us they didn't have a killer, so you would think they would need to gather some of this evidence up if they were going to run after a killer and supposedly catch him. No, but what we see in this clip as you're watching is just a member of Charlie Kirk's production team who doesn't seem fazed at all by Charlie Kirk being shot, climbing up and taking a camera down that was placed behind him. Now, wouldn't this be evidence? Shouldn't that be a police officer, not some, guy in skinny jeans who's taking the camera down? Couldn't we use that so we can actually see maybe proof from another angle of what they're telling us? Well, they don't want that. They don't want you to have proof. They don't want you to have multiple camera views. They don't want you to realize that the event didn't actually take place. So this should be another one of those things, just like Erica Kirk's behavior that raises people's suspicion. They should look at this and say, why aren't the police not pushing all these kids out of the area, telling everyone it's a crime scene, telling everyone that they need to gather as much evidence as they can, gun fragments, whatever, because they have to figure out who the shooter is, right? But instead, what do we see? Well, we saw footage of Charlie Kirk getting run out the back, not in an ambulance, right into the back of a black SUV, kind of like Donald Trump after his fake assassination attempt. And that was the end of the story. That was all she wrote. Minutes later, people were walking around the campus just yelling at one another based on their political ideologies, because that's part of the point of these psychological ops. But nobody was looking at this as a crime scene. Nobody was trying to go near the actual area where he supposedly was shot, maybe even collect some DNA so we could find out if it actually was a real bullet that hit him in the neck. Did he even lose any actual blood? Well, don't worry about asking those types of questions, because if you haven't heard, they've already replaced the area where Charlie Kirk was shot. They've already covered up with pavers. That's right. They've covered it up with pavers. That's not suspicious at all. Less than a week. In fact, it only took about 3 or 4 days for them to do this.
This is the courtyard where it all happened. It's now open to the public again. There's lots of people coming here, placing flowers, cards, things like that. The university is already making some changes. They're replacing the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers. And there are several petitions online asking the school to make this into a permanent memorial for Charlie Kirk.
So the common people will see that and they'll say, well, they're going to put pavers there. Maybe they're going to build a memorial for Charlie Kirk. And what they should be saying is, if this is a crime that was actually committed, is this not a crime scene? Now, why would they put pavers there? Well, possibly because they don't want any trace of the fact that there'll be no DNA of Charlie Kirk found in that grass area. There'll be nothing that they actually find. There'll be no bullet fragments in that area. And now that there's pavers on top, well, we don't have to worry about it anymore. End of scene. End of production. That's how your government operates. So days after he is shot, we don't have a crime scene. Nobody thought to cover up the scene, keep reporters out of the area so that the
Yep, that's bitched for you. That's so bitched for you. But I see
Go ahead.
Cheese.
Here's what it is, Joe.
See, Big Cheese says Robin Williams was about to be the biggest comedian in America, but unfortunately he passed away soon. And Welfare King also says
police can handle it.
Hold on.
The police could take.
Welfare King says he's asking you what is the name of a guy from Albany, New York you had working for with sports show.
Oh, remember that? That was Mr. X. I ain't heard Mr. X in about what, 3 years now? That was Marquise. He was God, yeah, good memory. That was what Mr. X, man? I don't know what happened to him. He just went incognito, but he got like 20 kids. I think he left before we had. He was here when Joby was still here, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once in a while. Used to play.
Yeah. I think we lost him right after Joby came out.
I'll do all this.
I don't know what happened to him. Go ahead, Joe.
Stuff, the forensic stuff that police do, right? That we've all seen before, whether you've seen episodes of CSI or any type of crime show at least once in your life. I mean, Sherlock Holmes here is not needed to figure out that this is a psychological operation because of how it's been handled. If it wasn't enough seeing Erica Kirk mourning over the casket, rubbing her husband's mannequin hand, if that wasn't enough for you, that charade
mannequin hand. Exactly. Because the wife was acting all weird and phony. A mannequin hand said, he don't even believe the guy died. And I'm like that too. I believe they stuck him off, gave him plastic surgery. He's now living on an island some fucking way. I don't believe none of this shit. Go ahead, Joby.
Kirk giving a pep rally and a pep speech to MAGA that they're going to fight, and this isn't over. This is just the beginning. 2 days after her husband is killed right in front of her and her children, because you have to assume that maybe they actually saw it on television. Maybe not, because we can't even assume those are actually their kids, because of course they're not, because these are all actors. And
of course they're not the kids. Exactly. They're all actors. Exactly.
Now, for anybody out there that's wondering, the other calling card here is exactly that with the pavers. It's exactly that. I've talked about the CIA's Orion project. This is something that the CIA began doing in the 1990s. And in Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, he goes into detail about how the government was beginning to plan out school shootings and shootings at public places that people could see themselves going to, like malls or sporting events or concerts, in order to get the people to beg for gun control. Because again, like I said, when people hear these events are fake, they automatically get sucked in. They don't want to hear anything about it. You don't realize if the government didn't fake these events, then the government wouldn't convince you to be able to get the guns of civilians, because Democrats wouldn't care that Republicans had guns unless they felt threatened by guns, because they heard about all these school shootings and they preyed on their heartstrings about how their kids could eventually go to school or go to school.
Well, a lot of the school shootings are fake. A lot of them are fake. We know the first one wasn't, but a lot of them are fake, like that Sandy Hook shit, that fake ass Alex Jones, oh, they gonna come after me because I said it. They're taking my studio. That lie. She said anybody taking nothing. Sandy Hook was a CIA op. No one died. It's all fake. It's all phony. Caught, but they got to keep it going. They got Obama. Sandy Hook was a tragedy. All this fake shit. They keep doing all these fake ops. But sadly enough for them, at the time, I used to be the only one woken up and look at shit. Nah, this is all baloney. You got too many people starting to know this shit now. Too many. So like, no. This is all baloney. Well, go ahead, Joe.
Store looking to pick up some pot pie, and they could get shot. So yeah, once they get emotionally sucked in, then they start asking for the things the government wants. So the government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. The CIA inculcated the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. In this case, Bill Cooper is talking about false flag operations, where we see some of these Manchurian candidates who are put through trauma-based mind control and then are activated and they go and they carry out these.
Yeah, exactly. So let me say something. Hey, we're talking about MK Ultra. No, MK Ultra is real. See, I never shut it down. Oh, we shut it down. I never shut down the mind control to do it. People have people go kill people. All that shit. Don't know what the fuck they are. They never stopped that. They never are going to stop it. Also, remember, William Cooper was murdered when he told you that 9/11 was a psyop. You know, right after that, they got rid of his ass. They got rid of him. They told you. And who did William Cooper tell you back there? I wasn't even following William Cooper a lot. William Cooper told you about, even 25 years ago, told you about who? Oh, he told you about Alex Jones being a phony. Alex Jones is a government agent. He's definitely a goddamn working for the CIA. He found out all of Alex Jones' family has been in military intelligence and connected with the CIA. His whole damn family. So all these people like Tucker Carlson, you got Goofy Candace Owens, these are all agents, right? How do you believe that they turned against Israel and all that? That's a long lie. They're all agents. Go ahead, Joker.
Real shooting events. In fact, many of the famous serial killers you've heard about are actually Manchurian candidates who have been through these same types of mind control experiments.
Like Charlie Manson.
Events out so that people become fearful of going here, going there, doing this, doing that. There's serial killers on those. Yeah, the only real serial killer is in your government and in your intelligence agency. So when we look at the crime scene, right, what should we think of? We should say, well, this is a little bit weird that they're putting pavers over it, that they supposedly caught the shooter, but they're, isn't there going to be a trial? Are we going to need more evidence than the guy posting something supposedly on Discord? Don't we need evidence, right? Don't we need all these little things that they pick up everything possible so they can present it in a court case, right? Well, you would think that's how the world operates for us. But when the government carries out fake events, there are no real actual trials. There's sham trials, like you're seeing with Luigi Mangione. You're going to see the same thing with this character. In fact, this character might be used to bring back public executions, perhaps, because you've heard already they're talking about the death penalty. But when the crime scene gets cleaned up, that's a calling card from the government. Let's think of some of these other places where we had demolitions occur right away, right? Now, pavers is different than a demolition, but you can't expose, they're going to demolish. It's the middle of a yard, right? Instead of just putting a statue there for Charlie Kirk, they put pavers down, right? So any evidence that some regular, well, we can't, there's no evidence there for you to discover. We're just going to cover the whole thing up because everything they do is a cover up. So you look back at Sandy Hook, right? What happened at Sandy Hook? Well, we all asked for evidence. They couldn't demolish the school fast enough, the pop-up school known as Sandy Hook. Decision was made in 2013 by Newtontown officials to tear down the building where the tragic 2012 shooting actually took place. Well, okay, what about Adam Lanza? Can we get a little evidence on Adam Lanza other than a creepy mugshot where we all could look at it and say, oh, yeah, that kid looks like a serial killer? Oh, right. They tore down the home of Adam Lanza as well. Now, why would they do that? What, nobody would buy the house? I mean, there's stories of crimes being committed in homes and those homes selling perfectly fine, right? I mean, maybe it's a little bit less on the market because, hey, somebody got beheaded in the house. All right, well, but I could buy the house for like 75% cheap. No, they demolished the home. They probably didn't even rebuild there, right? And in fact, if you're not suspicious enough about that event, don't forget that Sandy Hook, the demolition contractors, were barred from discussing the site publicly. That doesn't raise your suspicions? So when everybody out there was asking just for proof or evidence, other than the fact that the news pressed play, they talked to you outside a location you've never seen before, and then showed you CGI photos of people and parents who could barely cry on their own without laughing, the duping delight at its finest during this event. Yeah, all people like us were saying is, hey, look, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but we would like some proof. We would like some evidence before you work the public up into wanting to disarm all the civilians while the government continues to clearly show that they are turning on the civilians themselves, right? So civilians should have been saying, well, we probably want to be armed because the government's really looking like they're going rogue. And now you're seeing it. That's 2013. Now you're seeing it. 2012, actually. You're seeing it firsthand, what a rogue government looks like. The Democrats, the Republicans working together, completely stripping us all of our rights and getting you to strip one another of their rights. So Sandy Hook, not only demolished, right? We had Lanza's home demolished, and we had the people who were doing the demolition were not allowed to speak publicly. Like they had to sign agreements, confidentiality agreements, forbidding public discussion. And still there's people who are like, no, stop saying that. Yeah, well, you don't find that suspicious at all? Give me a break. Then, of course, we had the Parkland shooting, which brought us one of our best crisis actors, but also one of our most annoying, David Hogg. Well, that school just happened to have gotten demolished conveniently after the fact. How about Uvalde? We heard a lot about Uvalde. In fact, when Uvalde occurred, I covered that on one of my 100 channels or so, talking about how the government and the state of Texas was coming in and saying, you know what? We're going to do child identification programs, just like the Freemasons. We want all your kids' DNA so we can identify bodies after the kids are I mean, do people not know what's actually going on here? The data centers, the DNA. Is people paying attention to what the government's trying to gather on everyone? Oh, yeah, they've gathered it all right. So we had Uvalde, and of course, that school just conveniently also was shut down. Columbine, the school might still be up, but they did demolish the library, which was the place that most of the shootings supposedly occurred, right? So they took that down because, of course, it's too squeamish for people. How about McMartin Preschool? I always tell people this should be the number one thing to wake people up, is to look into the real investigation at McMartin. Well, couldn't end fast enough, the trial, so that they could demolish the school, because before, hired detectives and people like Ted Gunderson, before they could actually get in there and, excavate and see what was really going on underground, because there were claims of underground tunnels that led to airports, which Ted Gunderson found. Well, guess what? They demolished it so that there could never be a retrial and so that the public would never find out about it. How about the Pulse nightclub? Remember that one? That brought us some incredible crisis actors as well, which I've covered on the website. I've covered for years. I can't even remember which year this one is. But did you know that the Pulse nightclub is also getting torn down? Crazy, right? A lot of these places, what's the common theme here? Well, there could be some actual evidence, or none, so to speak, left behind. Buffalo Supermarket, another good one. Remember that? That was the guy that went in there and was live streaming it, and it looked like it was 100% AI. It looked like a video game. And they were showing people actually get shot. It was actually on the internet. Well, don't worry about it, okay? Because they've given it an entire gut job. Now you might say, well, there's a shooting somewhere, you got to give it. Well, no, this is a complete gut job. So they did keep the building up. So we didn't get a demolition there, but we got a complete gut job. I don't know on whose dime. I guess, when they told the grocery store owner ahead of time, do you want a free renovation? Well, just leave, go away for a week. Here's a trip to Cancun for you and your wife. Okay, when you get back, your store is going to be closed for a month, but we're going to give you a HGTV style renovation inside. And he probably said, wow, that'd be great. This place looks like a dump. It's a small chain grocery store. Sure, go ahead. Right? Because who's paying for the reno? This guy can just afford to do the renovation because what? People weren't going to go there because it wasn't renovated, because they, people who went there every single week were just going to go to a new grocery store because that happened there. Well, maybe some people, right? But what did you need to do a reno for? All you'd have to do is just repair some of the bullet holes in the ground, shut the place down for a week and reopen it. Give some freebies away to get people back in the store. Oh, no, they needed to gut it, right? Yeah, nothing to be suspicious about. How about the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting? I mean, I can go on forever. Remember that shooting? You had a synagogue, right? You can see the multiple tie-in agendas. The Tree of Life shooting. Well, did you know that? Yeah, that one too. Demolitions already occurred on that. Boy, they really like to tear these places down. One place they don't want to tear down or haven't torn down, it was the site of a lot of human sacrifice and unimaginable rituals with children where you probably could find the DNA of, well, everybody in the music industry in the 70s and 80s. Well, Mr. Crowley's house. Yeah, his house that they continue to preserve and restore. Amazing how the Satanists work, right? That place is loaded with DNA, but of course, you'll never know about it. They'll never tell you about it, and the only thing you ever hear about it is how people like Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, bought the home for no reason whatsoever, other than the fact they were a fan of the guy who in his books talks about sacrificing children through sex magic and, of course, cannibalism and blood rituals, right? And if you don't know Jimmy Page, again, this is a little off topic, but Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin most known for the song Stairway to Heaven, which, of course, really opened the floodgates with backmasking. Other than the Beatles, many people were beginning to listen to records backwards, and they said, why do I hear things in these records backwards that are telling me how great Satan is? Well, because that's how magic works. Listen to this if you've never heard it before.
If there's a hustle in your hedgerow, don't be alone now. It's just a sprinkling for the make queen. Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road.
Yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna stop it at that. But yeah, literally, as we come to the end of today's conversation, I see Big Cheese says my auntie said Charlie Kirk was a good was a good man who called out everyone. Some people in my family are one step up from a from a baboon. If you mean from a bubble gum, or what do you mean? I think you meant a bubble gum, Big Cheese. Like Jibba also says, you've never seen an interview with Lance's parents, and say just research the lead Zeppelin worse than. Yeah, it's super crazy. But yeah, I think right now that discussion of Charlie Kirk actually should even end this week, because we've discussed enough of it. We know a lot of information. There's a lot of answers that they're not giving. Like, again, the yellow tape, which should be there to prevent the crime scene so that it can give easier time for investigations. Why is the home of that guy being torn, and the demolishers are being told to sign confidential agreements, to not go publicly discussing about this? So it's a lot of questions, but literally we're winding up right there with the conversation for the day. Hoping you guys have enjoyed, and of course wishing you a beautiful rest part of your day. Seeing you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on the Blackout Fan Network. Keith, your closing remarks.
Your slick ass about to end the show again, like, with me gone. I came back with that. That was yesterday, the day before yesterday. I came back, the show was already over. Then what happened?
I thought you bought a new phone. I don't know what's happening with your phone. It is your phone.
I was in a bad area. I was in a bad area. I came back and said, like, Joey, where you at? Ended the damn show. Slick ass.
Sorry about that, but yeah, we winded up literally with that.
Yeah.
We already know so much about this Charlie Kirk story, and I think that should be even the end of this discussion of him. Like, we already know what is happening.
All right.
And
Say much about.
For those who want to keep on talking about it, the white people are the most hurt ones. Let them keep on. So the truth is already out. So many details are not detailing. So many dots are not dotting, and they don't want to explain that. So
Exactly.
literally. So
much love, family. Closing remarks are, you guys come on Blackout 5. We're going to show Shamani's birthday tomorrow, so I'm going to have the guys try to stream it on the phone or stream it. I'll see if I see Shamani cutting their cake tomorrow around, it's going to be early in the morning for y'all. It's going to be early, so it'll be like 7 o'clock, guys, if you guys are up. 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so turn up and see what's up. But yeah, much love.
Yeah.
See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, and have yourselves a beautiful day. Peace.
What's up, fam?